Today we're going to be having a look at a cheese fondue. I've just come back from Switzerland. They're all the rage out there and they're absolutely delicious and so easy. The basics are cheese and wine. When it comes to the cheeses, you don't want anything too strong, so I go for a Gruyere and an Emmentaler. And for the wine, you want something that's as dry as you can find. You don't want it sweet, otherwise it'll ruin the fondue. The fondue's done in thirds. It's a third of one cheese, a third of another, and a third of wine in weight. So here we've got 200 grams of Gruyere, 200 grams of Emmentaler, which means we'll need 200 milliliters of wine. You can do it in any kind of pan, but the most important thing is to get a decent quality pan. It's got to be really heavy, solid, at least very thick bottom, but preferably cast iron and thick all the way with an enamel inside, just like this. They're not expensive. Brand new, this is about 120 quid fondue set, but I looked on eBay, everyone's selling them. I think I got this one for about 20 quid. It's not a lot of money. They're inevitably something that's always in the back of a cupboard, no one ever uses, but personally I love fondue, so I have it actually quite often. First things first, what we need to do is season the pan, and we do that by rubbing garlic around the inside. So cut a clove of garlic in half and just rub it all the way around the inside of the pan, like so. Now we've got our pan flavoured, we need to heat up the wine. Grab your scales, zero the pan onto the scales, and add 200 millilitres of wine. A good rule of thumb is it's 100 millilitres of wine per person. And obviously you've got to ramp up the cheese to compensate. So put this on the heat and bring it to a point just below simmering. Next, it's time to look at our cheeses. Grab them out of the packet, cut off the rind, and grate them. When it comes to grating, there are loads of food processors that have a cool attachment to make it a second's job, but as I'm not making much, I'm just going to use a standard box grater. As I said before, you don't want any cheeses that are too strong. That's why these are nice, mild, slightly sweet cheeses. Things like a mature cheddar are going to make it way too strong and salty. Once you've grated all of your cheese, chuck it in a bowl. One of the biggest problems people have when they make a cheese fondue is when they're adding the cheese to the wine, it ends up melting the cheese, but it never actually combines with the wine. You end up with loads of liquid and loads of melted cheese, but very separated in the pan. The trick is to use a little bit of corn flour. Grab yourself about half a tablespoon, sprinkle it over the top, and then just mix it through the cheese. This helps it all combine when you add it to the wine. Now, it might look like quite a lot of cheese for the amount of wine we've got in the pan, but trust me, it all comes together really well. Now our wine's pretty much come up to temperature, all we're going to do is grab a little handful, chuck it in, and give it a stir. The moment you see the cheese start to disappear, you can add in the next handful. You can probably turn the heat up a little bit as well, as a cold cheese going into the hot wine does tend to cool it down a bit. Now you see how the cheese is slightly separated. There's liquid and there's cheese in here. Keep stirring and the corn flour will do its magic and bring everything together. Now turn the heat right down. You don't want the cheese burning to the bottom of the pan. And there we have it. Lovely, gorgeous cheese. Still a few lumps in there from the bigger bits of cheese that didn't go through the grater, so just keep stirring it and those will slowly start to disappear. When it comes to seasoning the cheese fondue, do not add any salt. The cheese has already got enough saltiness to it. All you're going to add is a little bit of pepper. While the last bits of the cheese are just melting away, you can sort out your burner. Now, pretty standard, there are loads of different fuel types you can get. Personally, I just prefer this standard fire gel. All you do, lid off, fill the base, grab yourself a lighter, get it lit, careful because the flame's quite clear, you might not see it, and then put the burner hood back on, making sure that the air can get through and keep the thing burning. If you want to turn it down, turn a little bit to the side, which cuts off the air holes, keeps the flame a bit lower if it's overcooking. Keep it on full just to get the flame established before you pop it on the table. Pop the grill back on the top, pop the melted cheese on, get yourself some French bread and tear it up into a bowl. Nice chunky pieces, and then everyone can cut their bread to their own size as and when they dip it. And it really is as easy as that. That's enough bread to be getting on with. Beautiful cheese. Oh my gosh, this is just delicious. And then all you've got to do is the acid taste test. And there you have it. I know it's hard to believe that it's that easy, but it really, really is. Chuck it on the table. You can have about 4 or 5 people around it without too much elbows getting in the way. And if you want to do any more, get another fondue. They're not expensive. And enjoy. And as always, if you've liked this recipe, please do hit like and subscribe below. Any questions at all, please feel free to ask. And if you want me to do anything else, just let me know.